In this video, we're going to take a look at the 2025 WNBA draft. I wanted today to reflect on it, so the previous video was on the portal. This one will go into it, just reviewing the first round picks mostly and what some of the teams were trying to do. Then we will finish up the video with a shout out to the graduating class of 2020 and the Magnificent Seven. I'll go into that at the end. Before we start, if you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. Okay, let's get into this. As expected, Paige Bueckers was the #1 pick. Paige was good at the draft. I'm surprised she doesn't know what Tex-Mex was. I thought it was good that she didn't pout about going to Dallas, as obviously you would think for endorsement opportunities and things like that, it would have been better to go to the LA Sparks. But to her credit, she's not pouting and getting on with it, and it's a important piece to a franchise that needs a piece like her. And I think it'll be a good setup for her. Like they will struggle next year, no doubt. Like if you look at their roster, they've got obviously Arike Ogunbowale's there, Misha Hines-Allen, Tierra McCowan, Carrington, Ty Harris, Nalissa Smith now's there, Paige Bueckers, and then they have Joyner Holmes. She's on a training camp contract, and there are a whole bunch of others on training camp contracts. So their other draft picks, Zaya James, Madison Scott, Von Lay, and Quinterly, they all have a chance to make this squad. I don't think all four of them will make it, but all of them, it'll be a big training camp battle to see who's ever able to make it. Von Lay might be able to score a spot. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but they're just going to take their lumps and learn and develop players and then really set them up for the 26 season, because all these players are on one-year contracts because nobody knows what's going to happen when the CBA gets renegotiated, and then it's like free picking. So you can rebuild fast in 26 after they get a new collective bargaining agreement, you would think. So a good team to just learn on and sort of get bloody and learn your lessons like you will as a rookie. If you are a Paige Bueckers fan, one thing to keep your eye on is the front office. Kurt Miller's there now as the GM, but let's say a coaching job comes up next year and he still has the itch to coach and leaves it. Could Greg Bibb slip back into the front office, into the GM role? That would be my one fear if I was a big Paige Bueckers fan, because you don't want Greg Bibb calling his shots based on what he's done in the previous years, in my humble opinion. All right, let's go to the #2 pick. I would classify this pick by the Storm as expected but unexpected. So they chose Dominique Malonga. She's the 6'6" big from France that has skills. She's very athletic. She can shoot a bit, and there's a high upside for her. So it's not surprising that she was taken #2. What is surprising, I find, is that the Storm kept their #2 pick, because it doesn't really meet with the current timeline of their team, because they've got Skylar Diggins-Smith, Agumake, and Izzy Magdabor, and they're trying to win now. How does this rookie fit into that? Which surprises me. I'm really surprised that they didn't trade the 2 pick for Ariel Atkins of the Mystics, because she was obviously available, because Chicago traded out of their 3 pick to get Ariel Atkins. So overall, Malonga, good prospect, good talent, but I don't think it really fits in what the Storm are currently trying to do. And then you go to the #3 pick, which was the Mystics, who acquired that from the Sky. They went and they chose Sonia Citron. Be interesting to see in 3 years' time, did the Sky make the right choice? Was it better to get Atkins versus holding their pick and picking Citron? I think it's a line ball call. If you're Chicago, I'm sure Tyler Marsh would say, we wanted a vet in there to teach the rookies how to be a pro, and that's why we've done it. Very justifiable. But in terms of salary, if Citron is good, then she'll be on a reduced salary for 4 years versus Atkins that will be a free agent next year. They can core her for 2 years, of course, but I just wonder in hindsight, will they regret not holding on to the pick and getting Citron? And time will tell. I can justify what they're doing. Washington's second pick, Kiki Arieffin. It's clear what they're doing there. They're taking the best player available, which they had Kiki Arieffin on their board. You could make the argument, was it a good pick because you already have Aaliyah Edwards? Because their games are similar. They're similar size. They're both around that 6'2", 6'3", play a power forward spot, have a mid-range game. If you look at the shooting charts from their college careers, they're very similar, especially Arief in her year at Stanford. She was much better shooting. She did not shoot as well when she was at USC last year, but it's sort of doubling up on the similar type players. That would be my one hesitation on taking Arief. And the Valkyrie pick, no issues with that. So they went international with Ustay at number 5. I probably butchered that, but hey, it looked like the commissioner butchered it as well. So give me some latitude here. It'll take us everybody a while to learn her name. But she's 6'1" from Lithuania, and you look at the film of her, she has a good game, like inside out. She's gone through some adversity, like she had a hip surgery, but recovered from that. And yeah, I think that's a home run pick for the Valkyrie. I think that's a good player that you can develop over a few years, get her stronger, and should develop quite nicely for them. Now, Washington's third pick, well, it wasn't their third pick, the number 6 pick in the first round, but their third pick to make was Georgia Amore. That was the most surprising pick of the night. I don't think many had, at least I sure as heck didn't have Georgia Amore as the number 6 pick in the WNBA draft, because usually they punish short players. It's not fair, but that's what they do, because the whole concern with them is, how are you going to play defense? I thought it was good that they spoke about it in the draft interview. Amore says that she's overcome her height her whole career and people doubting her. So good luck to her. I hope she's right. But yeah, it wouldn't have been the pick that I would have made. One thing to keep your eye on in training camp is the Australian battle for a roster spot, because the Mystics already have Jada Melvin, who is from Australia as well. She plays for the Canberra Capitals. She had good moments last year. Like, she can get to the basket. She's one of the youngest players in the WNBA. So Amore has a better shot. I think Melvin is able to get to the basket better and has a better chance of playing better overall defense. Poor Jada Melvin. So first I felt she was unlucky in Seattle, where she lost her spot to Nika Mule, and now she has to battle her fellow countrymen for a roster spot with the Mystics. So that'll be interesting to watch that one play out. The Suns have the next 2 picks at 7 and 8, and I thought they played it very smart. So they went Anissa Morrow, and as well they went Sanaya Rivers. And essentially, these are both very talented players that need to develop more. And I think that's smart, because, and I think it's good for the players as well. They need a team where they will get time to develop their games. And the Sun have a lot of time, because they are going to be rebuilding, obviously, as they traded everything away except for poor Marina Mabrey. Be careful what you wish for, Marina, in getting that trade to the Sun. You're the last one standing. I think you'll eventually get traded sometime mid-season probably. But yeah, I think it's a good pick for the team and the players, because they'll both develop. They're both extremely athletic. I think Anissa Mora will be able to rebound in the WNBA, but she needs to refine her face-up game. And if it goes well, you could see her being a miniature Alyssa Thomas, maybe. Sort of that big, strong body, like a freight train coming down on the fast break. That's what you would hope for, that she would develop into, but to be determined over time if that happens. But yeah, I think their fans should be very happy with that. Number 9, the Sparks went for Sarah Ashley Barker. Of course, everybody's fresh in their mind her tournament performance, where she just went crazy. I think it was Maryland, where she could not be stopped. I think they made the comp to her during the draft to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham's a little bit bigger, and Phoenix got away at times playing her at the 5. I don't know if you'd be able to do that with Barker, but her way onto a roster is just to be instant offense. Put her in for a few minutes and let her shoot the ball. Because they have Lynn Roberts going there, who's analytical and want to take 3-pointers, that should be a good fit because Barker can shoot 3-pointers. So hopefully she'll catch on and be able to get a roster spot with the Sparks. Now, the Chicago Sky had the 10th and 11th pick in the first round. It was interesting what they did. So, first, they went big with Aisha Sivka. So, she's an international player, 6'4", and has that European game where she can shoot, but she's a big and can face up. This is interesting. It sort of confirms what I thought last year, that it was going to be impossible to play Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso together. I'm quite curious to see how much Tyler Marsh puts them on the court together at the same time, but you can see that they're trying to find a pick and pop for as insurance in case Angel Reese's shot does not develop, because they need to space the court more. That was a fatal flaw of their offense last year, and she's the type of player that would give that to them. It's got to hurt the Sky that they had two of the best pick and pop bigs. So they had Alana Smith the season before that they let get away in free agency to the Lynx as well. They had Leonie Fibich as well, who they've compared Sifka to a little bit, and she says that's who she models her game after. James Wade had her, and they traded her for New York. It was a nondescript trade, and nobody thought much of it. But in hindsight, they had these two bigs that they let get away. And Chicago's focus on getting a better pick and pop is just further emphasized in the second round when they took Maddie Westbeld as well, who's another pick and pop player. So I really think they're hedging their bets and really want to make sure that they have a forward that can shoot the ball, or develop one that can shoot the ball. And I see more that Cardoso and Angel Reese will split time at the 5. So if Cardoso is getting taken advantage of by a small sub-in Reese to let her counterbalance that, and vice versa. If Reese is getting torn apart by a big that's handling her inside, then get in Cardoso and intermix, which isn't bad. That makes sense to me. I understand this year, or this draft, what Chicago's doing with their 11th pick. Haley Van Lith, a little bit surprising. I didn't think Haley Van Lith would go in the first round. Good for her. She did a good job of salvaging her reputation after the damage done at LSU and how badly that went. Mark Campbell did a good job of utilizing her in pick and roll. And on the offensive side of the ball, Haley Van Lith should be fine. She can run pick and roll. She plays well through contact. Will she be as successful going to the basket with the size and athleticism to be determined? But she might be. The big thing with her and Georgia Amore is how is she going to hold up on defense on the other side when she gets into switches and things like that, because she'll get picked on the other side of the court for sure. So that would be my big question. But overall, congratulations to her, because she got drafted in the first round. The last draft pick of the first round, well, it's Dallas. The Aces lost their pick due to the Hamby situation. So they took Zaya James. I've already mentioned that. Zaya James has a chance to make the roster. Good luck to her. If you get drafted by anyone, Dallas is a good team. The Lynx was a good team. Not the Lynx, I'm sorry. The Valkyrie was a good team to get drafted by. So I think that the Valkyrie, I think it was a good thing for Caitlin Chin to get drafted by the Valkyrie. That gives her a chance to make a roster. Good luck for her. And then I guess because I have a lot of UConn people watch my channel, Aubrey Griffin going to the Lynx, I think their roster's obviously loaded. I wonder if they're going to try to say that her knee injury is not right to give her an extra year to make the roster next year. Cheryl Reeve likes UConn players. She took Dorka and she's always said UConn players are well coached and smart and fit her system well. So you would see that's probably the best place she could have gone potentially, if it wasn't going to be an expansion team or a rebuilding roster, and maybe having a year off to. And I don't even know if she's taking a year off, but Gina said her knee's not quite right yet, and that's obvious how they weren't playing her in back-to-back games. So her missing time or being stashed away for a year, I don't think would be a bad deal for her. Now, I will finish with this just to pay, I guess, celebration to the 2020 college recruiting class, as it was a good class, especially the top 7. If we go through them, Paige Beckers was ranked number 1. She's the number 1 draft pick of the Dallas Wings and won a national championship. Angel Reese was listed number 2 in that class. She was drafted number 7 by the Sky and also got a national championship at LSU. Cameron Brink, drafted number 2 by the Sparks and also got a championship with Stanford. Caitlin Clark, drafted number 1 by Indiana. Yes, no national championship, unlucky, but she did spectacular things with the Iowa Hawkeyes. I think most would agree that she has been a transformational player in terms of getting eyes on the WNBA and women's college basketball. So kudos to her. 5, Camilo Cardoso. She was drafted number 3 by the Sky and obviously won a championship. Cardoso did with the Gamecocks. Number 6 is Diamond Johnson. Now, Diamond Johnson played for a little while at Maryland, I think it was. Was it No, it wasn't Maryland. It was NC State. And then she decided to transfer to a smaller school, Norfolk. And she did not get drafted in this draft. And you could make the argument that she's extremely unlucky. If you put the numbers that she put up, and she is short of stature. So she is like 5'6", much like Georgia Amore. Funny enough, if you put her numbers up against Georgia Amore, they are very, very similar. And that's why this drafting thing makes me laugh. Like sometimes people take shots at me and say, how dare you? You're not an expert. How do you rate this? And I would go back at you and say, yeah, well, it's not a science. Everybody can have opinions on this. And there's no strict way about it, because how does Georgia Amore, with her size and the stats she put up, they're saying, yeah, she can be successful in the WNBA, but no, Diamond Johnson can't. So and that's the way it is. It really is the eye of the beholder and who's drafting. And then finally, of the Magnificent 7, number 7 is Haley Van Lith, who was drafted number 11, and she made it to a Final Four as well at Louisville. So congratulations to that class, because that was a spectacular, spectacular class with a lot of bona fide stars. So there you go. That is our first round recap. Now it's over to you for your comments and your poison. I think I was pretty nice to everybody. Maybe a little bit too nice. Last year I was a little bit more acerbic. Maybe I didn't get much sleep. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. All your comments and poison are welcome. Have a great night.